What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi. Guys, we have rebalances of all of these units from what I think like 2 years ago these dropped, maybe even 3, I don't know. It's been a long time. So let's talk about these units, the rebalances, what's going on, and whether it's worth summoning tonight or not. Now, the one thing we do need to preempt here, okay? We have the Haruhime, the new Haruhime, that does 120% strength and magic. So that's kind of par of the course for every single, and I do mean every single element out there. Like, everybody gets that. That's strength, magic across the board. So that, like, I know the water team is insane. I know the fire team's really flipping good. And I want to kind of see if the dark team will live up to that hype. Now, we do have a dark unit that does 100% dark damage. That's really what we needed to kind of bring the dark team up. But we also need a few key things, like units that have percentage boosts on their essays and their third skills, you know, things like that. So let's kind of compare this to what we have, what we know we have, the damage we've seen from other units, and how this is going to compare to the dark team going forward. Because some of these units, Philvis, are going to kind of be our litmus test on that, as you'll see. But let's get into this, okay? The Enlightened Bell. Now, Enlightened Bell here, and I'm only going to focus on these stats because these are the ones that really matter. These are the stats post Hero Ascension, and you can kind of see the difference that Hero Ascension makes. 575 versus, you know, 1910 for a magic skill. So, like, almost a 2,000 magic skill, plus I'm sure some percentage boosts and things like that. So we'll see. HP is 3519. That actually is not changed. That's still a little on the squishy side, even for a magic unit in the modern era. MP 317 is actually very good. Strength stat really doesn't matter a huge amount. Endurance 590 is nice, though. That is going to add to that stat. That's not insane, but it does make him significantly more survivable than other units out there. Now, Dex 726 ain't great. Agility 1086 would have been phenomenal for the time. Now it's good. I don't want to turn that down. Like, that's not a bad thing necessarily. But if it was like 1186, it'd have been phenomenal. It's good, not astounding, I guess I should say. Yeah, I would even go so far as to say great, maybe not astounding. But let's go ahead and look at the passives here. So, SA, before adjustment was foes, plural, ultra dark magic attack with temporary magic boost and dark resist down 50%. Now we get foes, plural, ultra dark magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate and dark down 50%. So not, and it goes from one turn actually on that down 50% up to 3 turns, which is actually very nice. That's a massive, massive change. That basically means you can now triple and quadruple SA with this unit, whereas you really kind of couldn't before. You would need some kind of regeneration on the skill turns, and you actually don't need that now. So that's a huge boost. That actually is a massive change. It doesn't look like much on paper, but it is really, really, really massive. So our passive skills here are pretty straightforward, okay? Before adjustment, Split Shadow, low dark magic attack with ultra encounter rate, self magic, and dark attack damage plus 60%. That's really nice. That becomes a low dark magic attack. Kind of wish I was like mid or something. With ultra encounter rate, self magic, and dark attack damage plus 65% for 3 turns, which is really nice. And 3 actions, so they're adding the actions on here. That's huge. 3 actions, low dark magic attack to all foes. So that's kind of nice. Consumed MP goes up to 44, but it's really not the end of the world, especially, you know, in this day and age where we have like prominent MP restoration. Not really that big of a deal. You know, it's only 5 more MP per, and I really don't think, since you're going to be using this periodically, I don't think that's the end of the world, honestly. Okay. Skill 2, before adjustment, foes, plural, fast, high dark magic attack with allies 50% null physical attack times 1, which becomes fast, high dark magic attack with temporary magic boost and high critical rate, and allies 75% chance to null 1 physical attack. So it goes from 50% up to 75% with a few added bonuses, including critical rate and some other things. So that is really nice. And that only goes up by 3 MP. It goes from 49 up to 52. That is really, really, really nice. That is going to be a massive, massive game changer in that regard. So the spell is really good. Okay. Dark Stinger, foe singular, high dark magic attack with ultra run guard rate, temporary magic boost. Now, if this doesn't get a percentage boost, I'm going to say this is a wasted skill here, especially considering everything is, this unit is predominantly AoE. Okay. Super dark magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra run guard rate. So not really. Once again, it's a throwaway skill. Okay. Like I said, this is passive. These are just these skills themselves. Now we're getting into passives. Okay. So fast growth and dull charm. That's always a thing. When countering and attacking a regular magic attack with a foe, or counters basically with a foe with dark element, now we get light resist plus 35% when countering and attacking a regular foe with the dark element. So nothing really changes there, except we get light resistance, which is nice. That is nice. I don't know if it's hugely needed, but it does take the light resistance skill and adds it into dark manifestation. So very nice. That actually becomes True Strike, damage plus 50% upon critical and penetration. A lot of modern units get that. He did not have this at all, so that's really nice. All stats 25% becomes all stats 30%. Not end of the world stuff. 35 is about what we've seen, but I think we see that on several stats. All stats 30% is going to be really, really, really nice. I do wish it was something a little bit different, but that is going to help out. And that does kind of bring this unit back into the current relevance. Like, it's still going to be an old unit, but it's not going to be a tired unit. He'll be worth using again. Okay? And Phantasma Killer, that doesn't really change. Okay? Now, let's talk about Lily. Okay? And we're only going to talk about these skills basically here after the Hero Ascension. If you want to, once again, see what it does before Ascension, we'll pull them both up here. But HP is 3631. That's not bad. MP is 395. Could be better, could be worse. But once again, not the end of the world, especially for a magic unit. And notice she does have a little bit more HP than Bell does, so that is worth noting. Strength 387 doesn't really matter. Endurance 491, that's a bit questionable. That one I would like to see a little higher, but once again, magic units are a little squishier than physical units. Dex 730, it's good, not phenomenal. Agility, though, gets a major boost. 1128 is huge. That is great range. Borderline, I did say borderline. I do consider anything over 1100 in that astounding range. Maybe astounding would be like 1150 now after the anniversary, but still very, very, very good. And Magic 1865 could be a lot better. So she is kind of, I don't want to say middle of the road, but like middle of the road for a modern unit. Obviously a massive upgrade from what we had before. Massive. Well, the numbers don't reflect a huge change. No, take a look at this agility skill, take a look at this magic skill, and I'm sure she's going to get another one of those 30 to 35% boosts in her passive. She's way more potent than you're probably realizing. Though, as the HP and the endurance is showing, going to be fairly squishy, about on the level of, what are the current, like October 2020 to October 2021, non-time limited, meaning like basically not from the anniversary, magic units. So relevant in the current age. Not astounding, not groundbreaking, but definitely relevant, I would argue. Now, SA. Let's scroll down here. Crystal Barrage. Foes plural, alter earth magic attack with temporary magic boost, and agility and dex down 50% for one turn. Becomes alter earth magic attack with temporary great magic boost. That's a huge difference. It's a massive difference in power. And agility boosts agility and dex down 50% for 3 turns. So agility and dex down 50% for 3 turns is nice, but I would argue that by the time you get that SA off, it's a bit too late for most of those stats. Especially considering it's a foes plural, where we're really talking like Wargame here. By the time you get that off in Wargame, it is a bit too late. So, kind of a useless SA. And I understand that there's always uses for these SAs, but I'm saying for all intents and purposes, for like how often are you going to use it? Unless you specially build a team, you're probably never going to use that. Honestly. Just realistically, it's not something that you're going to use terribly often. Okay? The skills. Skill 1. Foes, plural, fast, low earth magic attack with allies magic and earth resistance plus 30%. Becomes fast, low earth magic attack with allies magic, agility, and earth attack damage plus 30% for 3 turns. I'm going to argue that could have been a lot better. If that was up 50%, it would be a no-brainer. But it literally just doesn't change enough to make any difference whatsoever. So even though it is agility, it is magic and agility and earth damage 30%. That agility is nice, but we have plenty of other units that kind of do that are sack units, and that's the only real reason I could see her using that in the modern era. Pass. I think skill 1's a waste, personally. Personal opinion. Unless you just need a 30% agility sack, and I think there are better units out there for that. All right. Fragment release. I thought I said fragrant, and then I reread it. Anyway, neither here nor there. Fragment release. Foes plural mid-earth magic attack with ultra penetration rate. Status buff down 2 turns. It's actually quite nice. Becomes super... Whoa, hold up. Super earth magic attack with ultra penetration rate. Is this even the same skill? Magic resist down 35% for 3 turns. Status buff down 2 turns. Holy crap. That skill changes everything right there. It's a super class attack, ultra penetration rate, magic debuff, and keeps the status buff down 2 turns. That is a whole different attack completely. Now, here's my kind of caveat to this. I love that attack, but it is really, in my mind, only going to be relevant after you give her all of the boosts. You would need someone else to give her something more than earth attack damage 30 and magic 30. You need more than that for that to really be relevant. It's going to be great, don't get me wrong. The status buff down 2 turns is phenomenal. The magic resist down 2 turns is phenomenal. This is a sack skill. This is 100% a sack skill, and this is her number 1 sack skill. So if you do not have this Lily, having 1, in my opinion, is more than enough. Maybe that's a hot take. Now, once again, after all the buffs, she will be potent. But being a foe's plural skill, I think the only time that's going to be relevant is Wargame and certain EX missions. Not a unit that I'm going to put on my teams all the time. So, good sack skill, get 1, and then call it. Division Spike. Let's see if this changed my mind. High Earth magic attack with temporary magic boost, ultra penetration rate. Becomes Super Earth magic attack. Foe singular Super Earth magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate. No. You don't get enough out of that. Fragment release is a great skill. If you get 1 Lily, you are absolutely fine. I think at that rate, I think her passives don't matter nearly as much, but I'm going to cover them anyway. When countering and attacking regular Earth magic attack with a foe with Earth element, blah, 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 blah. She gets Thunder resist when countering and attacking regular Earth magic attack with a foe with Earth element damage. Basically, she gets the Thunder resist that she had down on Thunder Resistance 1, and that's added in to become Earth Manifestation. So, let's see what she gets otherwise. Piercing Strike, damage plus 10% upon penetration becomes Piercing Strike, damage 15% upon penetration. That's nice. Now, we did talk Thunder Resistance is gone, and now she gets a Guard Rate 30. That's not bad. That's actually not bad. I don't think that's enough to save her as a mainline unit. I think she's still a sack, but it is what it is. Tattletale, Magic Agility Index plus 25%, as I predicted, becomes 30%. Once again, I like that skill. I don't think it's enough to save her. And she is a Phantasma Killer. In other words, expect a Phantasma event coming up soon. Let's talk about Leafy, okay? Because I actually used to use this Leafy a lot. I like her. Okay? After Ascension, 3627, which isn't much of a change, and MP is 396, which is just below the 400 mark, and I'd like a little bit more than that. Once again, strength doesn't really matter enough. Endurance is 491. That's not great. She is going to be squishy once again. Dex didn't get a massive boost. Agility is just over 1,000. That didn't get enough of a boost in my opinion either. That should be closer to 1,100 to really make this unit relevant. Magic is 1995. Now that is good magic skill. That is going to be really nice, especially if we get a 35% boost on magic, or a 30% boost on magic was what I expect. That should be pretty nice. Okay, let's look at her skills. Oh, let's look at her SA first. Sorry, I skipped a portion here. SA. Ultra Earth Magic Attack with temporary magic boost and Earth Resistance down 50%. Becomes Ultra Earth Magic Attack with temporary magic boost and Ultra Uncounter Rate and Earth Resist down 50% for 3 turns. Basically, it's the Earth equivalent of that Bell skill we talked about earlier, and I do think that is now once again relevant. I don't think it was terribly relevant before, and I think it's become a relevant SA. I think it is totally worthwhile. And I like that. I do like that. You could finally use this unit in, triple and quadruple SAs. It is what it is. Stone Rage. Foes, plural, low earth magic attack with self magic and earth attack damage plus 60%. Once again, I like that. But it becomes low earth magic attack with agility down 30%. I do like that a lot. Self magic and earth attack damage plus 60%. I wish that was 65. I wish it was literally just the earth equivalent of Bell, but it is just not. They needed to take that up to 65. I know it sounds a little greedy. I just think she falls a little short of Bell in that range. And 3+3 actions, low earth magic attack foes, and I really kind of think in the modern realm those should have become mid, but it is what it is. Once again, these are rebalanced for to be on par with units that would have released a year ago. Actually, somewhere between a year ago and now. They're relevant, but they're not groundbreaking. But I think there's going to be an exception to that rule here. Okay? Sediment Impact. Foes, plural, fast. Mid-earth magic attack with ultra critical rate. Ally status buff down 2 turns. Just like Bell, becomes fast. I'm sorry, this is... I think this is actually Lily's skill, if I recollect. No. Is it? Anyway, doesn't matter. It's a skill we've seen before. Fast mid-earth magic attack with ultra critical rate and ally status buff becomes fast high earth magic attack. I think it was super before, actually, wasn't it? I think it was super before. With ultra critical rate, damage received, attack all targets plus 30%. I like that. Wish it was 35, but another really good sack skill. I think that actually was Lily's, because I think that's why we said Lily was good, not groundbreaking. So they're basically splitting the difference between Bell and Lily here. And status debuff down 2 turns. I like that a lot. So basically you could sack Lily out and bring this unit in and still keep that with a really, really relevant attack. Not a super class attack, which I wish it was, but nevertheless a good attack. Fisher Heart. High earth magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra critical rate. Becomes super earth magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra critical rate. Meh. Whatever. You can keep skill 3 there. Let's look at her passives, though. These are going to be big. When countering, once again, you do a single target magic earth element attack, and they add thunder resist into that. So, nice. Not necessarily groundbreaking, but very nice. Critical damage 10%, stays critical damage 10%. I wish that went up to 15, but it is what it is. Thunder resist is added in, and we get damage plus 10% of punch penetration. Not bad. Magic agility index 25 becomes 30%. And keeps Phasma killer. So, I like that a lot. I really do like all of this. It is a good kit. Is she going to be groundbreaking? I don't think so. But she is relevant-ish. And it's honestly what the Dark team has needed. She's Earth. I'm sorry. So actually, being that she's Earth, not Dark, let me just rephrase that. Earth's gotten a bit of love lately. Earth is good. I'd have to ponder whether or not that's worthwhile, but if you need some magic opponents or magic allies for your Earth team, this is going to be a great kit. Probably not groundbreaking, kind of a unit you bring in on the backside, after the sack and all that. I don't think she's going to be a massive damage dealer, but I think she's going to be a good support, especially with that debuff down 2 turns. I think she's going to be a fantastic support, and that all target plus 30%, your AoE team is going to love bringing this unit in. But I would argue for Wargame, probably not so much. You're really talking more other events. But the fact she has self magic and earth attack damage plus 60% is really nice. I wish there was 65. I do have arguments with what they did here. I think they kind of nerfed Leafy a little bit. Let's move on, because I really think Philvis is the one that we really want to pay attention to more than anybody else. So getting down to Philvis here. Now, this is a unit that I have a lot of expectations of, and they might be falsely placed, but we're going to see firsthand what's up here. So let's go ahead and take a look. Maximum possible status at level 80 with Hero Ascension. So with Hero Ascension, this is what we get. 3547. So she's going to be a little squishy. MP's pretty good, 416. Strength stat doesn't matter so much. Endurance, once again, 494. Man, I would love another 100 on endurance. I think she deserves it. Dex, not great. Agility, I'd say in modern stances. Under modern circumstances, that agility is pretty bad. But honestly, I don't think she's going to be about any of that. If you look at the magic stat, that's where she is. 1993. I'd quote a song from that era, but I do not want to be demonetized. 1993 is a really good magic stat. It's really just that close to 2000. And I think for what she does, and I can already kind of see it, I think she's going to be worth. So let's go ahead and see here. Okay. So her former essay, foe singular, ultra dark magic attack damage plus 80%. 80% is a good stat. Per each self magic buff skill and ultra critical rate. Now, that has been upgraded. That's already a great stat. It has been upgraded. Ultra Dark Magic Attack with Ultra Critical Rate. Damage 90% per each self magic buff skill. Now, if you want to equate this to something, if you remember back in the day, we were doing damage tests with the Aisha unit, and Aisha had the 80% buff skill, but she was AoE. And because of that, she was doing single target levels of damage. And this unit has 10% more. So this is exactly what I wanted. Now, I would have preferred, honestly, if she was upper 100% or better. But you know what? I can't be mad. This is better than any unit we would have had in the past year. This is really insane. 90% self-magic buff. Now, remember, you're going to buff on the assist side and the adventure side. So you're talking about a 180% buff. We have better in the game, but not for dark. This unit is going to be key for the dark team. And this is why I said that I really want this unit so much. But let's see what her other skills are and see if she really kind of stacks up here. Okay? So, skill 1. Foe singular mid dark magic attack with self magic and dark damage plus 60%. That's a good skill. Becomes foe singular mid dark magic attack with self magic and dark damage 65%. Perfect. That's exactly what she needs. 3 actions, low dark magic attack per foe. Once again, I wish that was mid, but I'm asking a lot because I'm really asking for a stat that's post-anniversary, and we're talking about stats that are pretty much pre-anniversary level. Coarse Gaze. Foe singular, high dark magic attack with high penetration rate, damage received, attack type single target plus 20%, and that is, I can already see down here, basically the same thing. High dark magic attack with high penetration rate. Wish that was a little higher, but high penetration rate you can't be mad about. Damage received type single target plus 25% for 3 turns. Good skill. Not groundbreaking, but definitely good. Finally, we come to her third skill, and this should be great. So, super dark magic attack plus 40% per each self magic buff skill with a high critical rate. That becomes a super dark magic attack with high critical rate and damage received 50% per each self magic buff skill. It becomes 100%. Now, while I would love to see that be 80 or 90% like the other skill is, it simply isn't. It just simply is not. The really nice part is, though, notice the MP cost has gone down drastically. 182 now becomes 165. So this is a little bit more spammable, especially in the modern era of MP restoration. Now, the downside is her damage. She's not like some of these units that their damage on the third skill is going to be as good as the SA. And the nice part about that is a lot of units that get that, they wind up getting nerfed in some way or another. They remove, the buffs or various things happen, and then you basically have to rebuff them quickly. So she's somebody she can literally spam this without any kind of deficit. So in a way, this is actually really, really, really good. I wish it was a little bit higher if I'm honest, but I can't be mad. She's going to hit absolutely ridiculously. So here's my 2 cents on the matter. If you have any level of Dark Team at all, and you've got the new unit that gives you 100% to the assist skills, or 100% basically on SA is what I'm trying to say. If you have anybody that gives you that 100% dark magic on SA, or dark attack on SA, then this unit is going to be an absolute must, and she's going to be insane for this, for really any event. Now, we can pair her up and do a real world comparison, but I'm going to have to first of all get this unit, and I'm going to have to max limit break her, which I don't have her at all, and max limit breaking her is going to be even more difficult. Now, I could be wrong. I believe all these units are time limited. I don't believe it says here, but I believe they are time limited, so that adds another little bit of difficulty to this. Unless they take the time limited off, but I believe at this point, unless I'm mistaken, that they are time limited. I could be wrong on that. But neither here nor there. I think Filvis, hands down, is the one unit that's actually worth on this. I think all the other units are kind of good, but not phenomenal, and easily passable just for what they are. But Filvis is an absolute must. Just an absolute must. Let's look at our passive skills, okay? Then we can talk about the assists. Okay, passive skills here. Will of Darkness. When countering and attacking a foe, it becomes a magic single target dark element, and they add the light resistance to that. So, light resistance gets added in there and becomes Dark Manifestation. We've seen that before. 10% MP regen per turn stays for Spirit Healing. That doesn't change at all. Then, of course, we have light resistance. They're going to take that out. They're going to give us True Strike. That's damage 15% upon critical and penetration. So, and that's not 50% upon critical. My understanding is this is 50% per critical hit, per penetration hit, so that could be up to 30%. I think the and is a little misleading here. I believe it's and or. Unless I'm mistaken on that, I could be wrong, but that's the way I've understood this to be. Tattletale, Magic, Agility Index 25% becomes 30%, so it's a great skill. Phantasmic Killer, once again, that stays put. Nothing really changes there. That's a static buff. So of all these units, Filvis is the absolute takeaway. And I would say if you're after anybody, you definitely want to be after her. Now, let's talk about assists. Okay? Now, let's see. We're only going to talk about the top of the line skill because that's the only one we care about. This is what happens at max limit break. Okay? Strength, Magic, Counter Rate, and Healed down 15% becomes Strength, Magic, Counter Rate, Heal, and Magic Resistance down 15%. That's nice. That's good. But 15% I don't think is end of the world stuff. Now, to be fair, adding the Magic Resistance on there, including Strength and Magic, is really nice. That's going to be a fantastic Record Buster skill. And that's kind of about if I'm completely honest here. Now, taking Heal down 15% as well as the Magic Resistance can be killer, but you got to build a Magic-centric team. So, Ina got to really, I think, the more I think about it, I think this buff means a bit more than we realize. My one thing is, the 10% is nothing. You really want this maxed out. If you do not have her maxed out, I hate to say, I don't think she's all that worth. So, Ina is great if she's maxed out, and exclusively, mark my words here, exclusively for Wargame. And maybe a few, like, erroneous tasks, you know, like random things here and there. But this is a Wargame unit. And I don't think she's end of the world stuff. She is exceptional at what she does. But if you're running a physical team, she's not going to be that great. Though this is going to be interesting. To be fair, it's not something that hasn't existed. I'm looking at this. I'm saying if you don't have her max limit broken, and you've been building or plan to build a Magic team, definitely worth getting. But if I'm honest, I kind of feel like she's going to fall off the map before long anyway. We might get someone with 20% that kind of does similar stuff. I don't think we're going to get a 20% that does all of this, but we're going to get a 20% that does something similar-ish. But those are all units. My 2 cents, if you want my honest opinion, she's the one unit that you probably want to chase. If and only if you have the unit that does 100% dark attack damage. That's the only caveat I'll put on her. But I think most people probably hit that banner because I told you guys to hit that banner. So, for now, that is going to be the video. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Like, comment, share, and I'll be back with more Danmachi very soon.